Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to be bringing this training to you all the way from Madrid, Spain. I'm on vacation and I'm super duper excited because I get to share some of the things that allow me to be on vacation, worry free, and still making money each and every day. So it's truly an honor to be able to help you generate more revenue in your business in a passive way. What I found with a lot of my Instagram followers and community members and even clients is that you guys are working way too hard for your money. Okay, you are slaving away, scheduling 5,000 consultation calls, aka sales calls, and you're basically hoping that at the end of spending 30 minutes or 15 minutes or even up to an hour with somebody that they're going to book your service, and often they don't. You're putting money into Facebook ads, you're stressing out over what to post on social media, you're hiring a graphic designer to build out a super fancy website. You're hoping to get, into this $5,000 coaching program and that it will transform your business. But the one thing that you're missing is copywriting. Right? Regardless of how good you are on social media, regardless of what your coach tells you, regardless of the ads, regardless of the consultation calls, is if at the end of the day, when the person gets on your website to buy from you, if they are not persuaded and convinced, they are not going to purchase, right? So that copywriting, that secret sauce, that thing that only you can do because you're the business owner, because you're the creator, because you're the person behind the brand. If that isn't on point, everything else is going to fall apart. And I really had to learn that the hard way in my own business, because I was super consistent blogging and I was super consistent going live and creating YouTube videos and doing all of these things. But by the time people landed on my website, right, the conversions weren't there. They weren't taking out their credit cards to pay me. So I realized all of my effort externally, right, off of my website, off of my email list, all the effort that I was putting on all of these other channels was going to be in vain or useless if I wasn't putting that same amount of effort onto my own website and onto the copy and the words that were going to actually convince people to buy from me. So today we're going to cover not only copywriting for sales pages, we're also going to go over some email funnel stuff, and the things that you learned today will also help you get it together on social media and any other place that you are trying to use words to sell. All right. So get out your pen and paper, pause this if you need to, but make sure that you have something to write with, and that you're totally distraction free, because this is really going to be more so like a workshop, right? I'm going to give you some things to think about. I'm going to give you some things to write, some notes to take. So you want to make sure that you're ready so that when I start dropping these gems, you don't miss them because you're scrambling to grab something to take notes with. All right. So let's jump into it. Now, the copywriting formulas and templates that you got will help you overcome writer's block, right? It's going to help you not feel stuck, not look at the page and wonder, what the hell do I write? Where do I start? But what it's not going to do is sell for you if you don't communicate these two things: results and urgency. We get very, very caught up on talking about what we're selling, that we don't talk about the results that people will get once they buy what we sell. And we also don't convert them to buy immediately from us because we don't create urgency. We don't tell people why they need to buy from us today or right now. And we kind of just basically leave it up to them to purchase whenever they feel like it. So this workshop is really going to cover how to create urgency with your copywriting and how to be able to communicate the right results so that your potential customer or your potential client knows that you're talking to them directly. But before we think about what actually goes on your sales page, what actually goes into your email funnel, what you need to say on your social media caption, what you need to say in your sales webinar, what you need to say on your launch calls, you want to think about what category does the thing that you sell actually fall within, right? Are you a painkiller? Are you something that's going to fix a problem temporarily, Are you fixing something for that specific moment, but it's not something that's going to last long term? Are you a vitamin? Are you something that people don't really actually need, but it's a nice to have? Or are you a cure? Are you that thing that is going to completely eliminate somebody's problem? Because when you understand the lens within which you're selling, you're able to make the necessary adjustments to your copy to reflect that and to achieve your sales goals, right? So if you are trying to sell something that is a vitamin, right? Something that people don't really need, that is a nice to have, right? That it's extra. You're going to need to talk to your customer differently than if you're a cure, something that's going to eliminate their problem, something that's going to save their life, right? Now, if you're a painkiller, you need to be able to communicate why somebody should invest in something that's only going to solve their problem temporarily. So think about it. When I go to my hairdresser, for example, my hairdresser is a painkiller, right? Because she's going to get my hair together. She's going to lay my hair for a certain amount of time, but my hair is not going to stay straight forever, right? My hair is not going to look perfect forever. So I'm going to have to keep going back, right? So I need to understand the benefits of continuing to go back to the salon if I'm going to be a repeat customer, right? Now, for example, I love to buy designer, right? So when I go into the Gucci store, I am under the impression, right? I understand that the thing that I'm buying is not at all necessary for my life. It is not solving a problem. It is not creating some sort of solution. It is literally just something nice to have, right? Something that's going to make me feel better for that specific moment. So when I go in there, the marketing that a designer store is going to have is going to be very different from, a store that is marketing to homeless people. Right? If I'm homeless and I don't have any clothes, the process of me buying clothes when I don't have any is going to be very different from somebody who is financially stable and I'm purchasing clothes because I want to and not because I need them, right? So you're going to want to really sit down and think about, where do you fall into, right? Are you a painkiller? Are you a vitamin? Or are you a cure? And while you're thinking about this, you also want to think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is basically this pyramid right here. And Maslow's hierarchy of needs is basically a principle or a theory around how people prioritize or rank the importance of things in their life, right? So people are always going to, starting at the bottom where you see the red, they're always going to prioritize their physiological needs, right? They're always going to prioritize food, shelter, and just overall the sanity of their physical being over anything else, right? You ever wondered why you get hangry? It's like you're hangry, you haven't eaten, you're starving, you can't make decisions, you're moody, the world is falling apart, right? Why? Because you're always going to put your physical needs over everything else. So somebody is more likely to spend $100 on a good steak to fulfill their physiological needs of being hungry than they would on spending $100 on your coaching program, because it's going to help them with self-actualization, right? Somebody will spend $5,000 on some sort of, program or surgery or procedure to look good before they spend $500 on something like therapy that's going to help their self-esteem, right? So if you understand the hierarchy of needs, if you understand how people are going to prioritize different things, it will also help you shape the way that you are communicating your product, service, course, coaching, offering, etc. All right? So after physiological, it's safety, right? Basically, shelter, being safe, having somewhere to live, not being homeless, feeling like they are secure where they're at. So that could be job safety, that could be like financial security, all that type of stuff. But basically feeling like they're stable is going to be prioritized next. Then love and belonging. People love, right? People love to feel like they are a part of something. So this is great for people who are selling some sort of community, who are selling products from the lens of love or finding a partner. We always hear that term sex sells, right? And the reason why sex sells is not because people love sex, but because people love to be loved and they love the feeling of belonging to something or someone, right? They love the idea of being somebody's wife or being somebody's husband or being somebody's mom, right? They love being part of a family. They love being part of a community. That's why Greeks, sororities and fraternities have such a tight bond, because of that sense of belonging, that sense of love and community that is provided by that specific organization. Now, I'm going to basically give you an example of how the hierarchy of needs plays into different kinds of marketing. All right. So Equinox is a high-end gym, right? They're a vitamin. Why? Because you don't need to pay $250 to go to the gym and to be in the gym and have high-end shampoo and conditioner. I don't know what they got up in there because I've never actually been, but from the people I know that go, they have like Wi-Fi. It's a club, right? You can hang out, you can do work there. They have amazing towels. I imagine that they have amazing customer service, right? So all of that is playing into more of a community, right? You being around other like-minded people, you being around people who are, one, financially stable, right? Because they can afford to pay that $250, who are probably professionals, right? Who actually are going to need Wi-Fi in the gym because they're more likely to have to send out an urgent email or hop on a call more than, the person that goes to Planet Fitness or works out at the park, right? You have that sense of belonging because they're specific club member events, right? That not everybody can get access to. So if you know that you go to another gym, if you go to New York Sports Club or you go to Planet Fitness or LA Fitness or, any other gym, you're not going to get the same types of activities and the same type of community that you get at Equinox. So their marketing is focused a lot on love and belonging, because they're working very hard to create a sense of community, a sense of exclusivity with their specific location. Now, if you go to, let's say, Gold's Gym might be a little bit more focused on the way that you actually look, like you actually working out the machines. So they might have better machines and more trainers available because they want you to work on your self-esteem and your self-actualization, right? They're focused on you actually hitting your health goals. They're actually focused on you hitting your fitness goals. So they're going to market a little bit different because their goals for you are different, right? So although both of them are gyms, Equinox is a gym and Gold's Gym is a gym, right? They're both going to be able to market to you in different ways. They're going to be able to attract different kinds of people because they are focusing on different kinds of needs. So I want you to go ahead and pause this presentation, and I want you to think about, are you a painkiller, a vitamin, or a cure? And when you're marketing, what needs are you going to be keeping in mind? Right? What are you going to be focusing on creating a feeling around with your marketing? Because if you don't know these two things, writing copy well is going to be impossible. If you don't know the angle, if you don't know the frame, if you don't have a lens within which you want to market, creating compelling copy will not happen for you, and it's going to sound like everybody else. Taking some examples from our customers, I'm going to give you two, right? So pre-made room decor. If I'm an interior designer and I have pre-made designs or templates for my interior design clients, I can go about this in a couple of different ways. Okay. I could be a vitamin, right? A rich woman could invest in my services, and I could be fixing a tiny problem in her life, which is she doesn't have the time to be able to go out and buy all of the things necessary to have her house looking beautiful. I could be a painkiller for somebody who is a designaholic, and they're the type of person that every month they're switching out their design. The theme of their living room changes with the seasons. They're the people that put the pumpkins out in October, and they put the snowflakes out in December, and they put the hearts out in February, and they got leprechauns for March, and they got flowers in April. Girl, in the summer, they got fish everywhere, right? These are the people that are constantly changing their decor. So maybe you're a painkiller in this sense, because they don't have to constantly go to the store to buy all of the different things that they need to consistently transform their living space. Or you're a cure. Why? Because your customer is pregnant. They're pregnant. They're stressed out. They're overwhelmed. They're humongous. Their feet are swollen. And the last thing that they want to do is go into Macy's and figure out how the hell to put together a baby nursery. So you're going to be a cure and eliminate the problem altogether, because for this one special moment in this woman's life, she doesn't have to worry or stress about figuring out how to put together a beautiful nursery. You're doing that for her. So you see, one product can take multiple different angles, whether it's a cure, completely eliminating a problem one time for somebody. It could be a vitamin, a nice to have, a nice touch, something that's there for convenience, or it could be a painkiller, something that helps to solve problems over and over again. Now, you also want to think about, if I am your customer, do I want a painkiller or do I want a cure, right? Because if my arm just got chopped off, I don't want you to give me Advil. I want you to sew my arm up. Right? If I go to the doctor and I find out that I have cancer, I don't want you to give me vitamins. I want you to put me on chemo. And the problem that a lot of entrepreneurs have is they're selling the wrong kinds of things to the wrong people, right? You have people whose arms have been metaphorically chopped off, and you're offering them Tylenol, right? You have people who have been diagnosed with cancer metaphorically, and you're offering them apple juice or ginger ale. So you want to be very, very in tune with what your customer actually needs, what their real life problem is, so that you can offer the right kind of solution, and then you can frame that solution based on the right kinds of needs. Okay? I'll give you another example. Let's say, I'm just looking at my list of customers. Let's go with cosmetics. Right? Cosmetics can take, again, multiple angles. Let's look at the hierarchy of needs. So it could be focused on a sense of love and belonging. So you can market your cosmetics around finding, the love of your life, like looking good for your next date, being beautiful for your wedding, being, beat for your next blog or photo shoot. Right? Cosmetics could also go from the sense of your need for self-esteem, right? Your need to feel good about yourself. So somebody who has bad acne, right, and finds a cosmetic line that works well to cover their acne scars and their bumps is going to mean something totally different than it does for somebody who just wants to look good for a date, right? Or wearing makeup to go to an interview for a job that you really want is very different from you wearing makeup, to go to brunch. So again, you want to think about, what kind of woman am I marketing to, and what exactly are her needs that I want to fulfill with my product? Am I helping them find love, feel a sense of belonging? Am I helping them with their self-esteem? Am I helping them actually reach a goal actualize themselves in some way, right? And people are more likely to buy something because they think it's going to make them beautiful than because it's going to get them a job, right? Or people are going to, spend money because it's going to help them find a partner than they would because it's going to help them run their business better, for example. So again, you want to think about all of these things before you even start to write your sales page. Now, you want to think about the features and the benefits before you write your sales page. So you basically want to make a list to understand what exactly is the benefit of investing in your product or service, and not just what your product or service is. So if I have a pen, a feature of the pen is that it has black ink. Another feature of the pen is that is ballpoint, or it's retractable, or it's silver, or it's gel versus, I don't know what other kinds of ink they are, but you get my drift, right? All the things that basically describe the kind of pen that you're receiving. But a benefit of a pen is that you have a pen that can help you sign a check, right? So if you're at the bank and you're trying to deposit a check and you don't have a pen to sign the back of it, you can't make that deposit. So now the pen becomes a lot more important outside of the ink and the color and the fact that it's retractable or ballpoint or gel. All that stuff doesn't matter as long as it helps you accomplish what you need in that moment, which is signing the check to deposit it in the bank. You can think about this for fitness, right? If I am focused on helping somebody get skinny, right? You're going to get skinny. You're going to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds. You're going to get a 6-pack. You're going to get a flat stomach, a tighter butt, whatever it is. If I'm only focused on that, I'm missing out on communicating the actual benefit, which is I'm going to help you look perfect in your wedding dress, or I'm going to help you look amazing for your class reunion, or you're going to have more energy than you ever have before. You're finally going to fit into your clothes, right? Whatever the actual benefit of working with you is a lot more than just the numbers on the scale. It's a lot more than just the pounds, right? It's the actual experience that they're going to have once they have achieved what you're promoting. If you have a course, people focus on talking about, well, it has 5 modules and 7 workbooks and 52 coaching calls and 197 exercises and 3 checklists, and the magical leprechaun is going to send you a postcard in the mail. I don't care about any of that, right? If I'm going to take a course, I want to know about what am I going to be able to achieve after I take the course. Because I watched the 5 modules, because the magical leprechaun sent me the postcard, because I went through the 5,000 workbooks, right? Because I did all of these, I was able to get this benefit out of it. This could also be the same scenario for coaching or digital products. We spend so much time talking about what you actually get in coaching, right? With career coaching, you're going to get 2 1-hour-long sessions with me, a resume revamp, a cover letter, and all this other foolery. And it's like, okay, that's great, but why should I care? Once you do get your resume revamped, once you do rewrite your cover letter, and once we do have those 2 hours, you'll be able to finally land that dream job, get that promotion, move up internally in the company, negotiate your raise with HR, right? All of the actual outcomes that happen because of your coaching. So on your sales page, you're not going to focus and spend a whole bunch of your time talking about what they get. You're going to spend most of your time talking about what they will be able to do with what they get, what they will be able to do after and they have gone through all of the modules and the checklist and the calls. All right. Same thing with if you have a hair vendor, right? Or if you have like a wholesale list, if you're consider yourself quote unquote the plug, right? If you're plugging people into different kinds of information, if you're an affiliate marketer, if you're recommending somebody else's course, if you're putting somebody onto a program, a vendor, a wholesaler, a resource, the wholesaler, the vendor, and the resource isn't what you're selling. You're selling what they're able to do with that information, right? So if I'm a hair vendor, right, and I'm gonna share with you who my wholesaler is, then the benefit isn't that you're going to get the wholesaler. The benefit is that you now, instead of you Googling for hours trying to find a wholesaler, instead of you going through 3, 4, 5, 6 vendors that are not meeting the standards, instead of you going through the nightmare of paying somebody on PayPal or, putting in your first wholesale order and you getting scammed, or you buying the wrong products because it's not what your customer needed, right? You're going to be able to avoid all these mistakes because I gave you the vendor, right? Because I did all the work for you. Let's also think about support group. So if I have a support group, again, the feature is going to be the support group meets once a week online or in person. You get 45-minute sessions. We're going to talk about your feelings. You're going to meet other like-minded people, XYZ. That's just features. That's just what I get. Is literally a checklist. Everyone gets that, right? But what is going to be the actual benefit? Because you went to the hour sessions, because you have this like-minded community, now you don't feel alone, right? Now you feel supported and you're able to actually cope and function on a day-to-day basis because you have this community. And now, if you remember on the hierarchy of needs, right? If we go back, love and belonging is very important on the hierarchy of needs. So if you're promoting your support group around having a place where you can belong, having a place where you can feel community, having a place where you feel love and not shame, right? People are going to buy into that a lot more than they would just heal from your problem, right? You're just going to heal and become a much better person, right? Because that's self-actualization. Self-actualization is reaching, that goal, actually becoming who it is that you want to become. But it's more important for people to feel that sense of community and belonging than it is for them to feel like they've reached the pinnacle of their life. So you want to think about all of these things. You can also think about it from a physiological sense, right? If something that you go through, let's say it's traumatic. Y'all know I'm dramatic, so we're just going to go over a traumatic experience. So let's say it's a very traumatic experience and you can't sleep at night, right? And you're always tired. If this support group is going to help me sleep better at night, if this support group is going to help me eliminate insomnia, if this support group is finally going to help me get my appetite back so that I can, be back to functioning well on a physiological level, that's going to mean everything to me. Because again, as a person, as a being, I'm always going to prioritize my physiological needs before I prioritize anything else. Okay? So think about those things again. Here are some other examples that I'll go through quick. If you have a book, a planner, a workbook, a guide, once again, we do not care that it's 300 pages. We do not care that there are 50 exercises. I do not care that it was printed on, paper that came from the Egyptian sunset and it was carried over here by white doves and it was printed in a vegan facility where they sprinkle holy water on the boxes before they send them out. I do not care how the book got here, what the book is about. I don't care that the cover is matte or gloss. I don't care if it's hardcover or soft cover, if it's spiral bound or not. What I care about is what's actually in the book. So instead of thinking about your book as 300 pages, and 50 exercises, maybe your book is 300 lessons, right? 300 ways for somebody to figure out how to solve their problem, right? It's a place for people to be able to map out their dreams or goals. So my profit planner, for example, which I sell on Amazon, I don't focus on promoting the exercises in there. I focus on promoting the fact that after you go through this book and planner, you will have outlined your sales funnel so that you can make money in your business. Because the benefit is you now understand a strategy to make money in your business, right? The feature is that there are exercises and lessons and planning pages in there to help you figure out how to create a sales funnel. But the benefit is that having the sales funnel is actually going to help you make money in your business. So I'm going to talk about and focus on what the book is going to help you do and accomplish, not necessarily what's within the pages. Water. If I am in the desert, dying, I'm not going to be worried if the water has alkaline minerals, if it's Poland Spring, if it's tap, if it's soda water, if it's sparkling, if it's flat. I do not care about any of those features. What I care about is the benefit, which is I am thirsty and this is going to quench my thirst, right? So you want to focus on not just listing off and rattling off a list of what is available or what's going to come with what you're selling, but actually what is the problem that's going to be solved with what you're selling. Candles, same thing. You can promote a candle by talking about all the scents. It's going to smell like cinnamon and apple and pine trees and pumpkin, right? And all of these other things. Me buying a candle as a vitamin because I want my house to smell like apple is very different from me buying a candle because it stinks and I need to eliminate odors, right? Or for me, for example, my mom smokes cigarettes, right? So if I could buy a candle that's going to help me eliminate cigarette smoke, that's going to be more important for me than my house smelling like pumpkin, right? That becomes a cure. Why? My problem is that my house smells like cigarette smoke every time my mom comes over. So the cure is going to be, I'm going to have these candles burning while my mom is there. So it'll immediately eliminate odors. So my house will never smell like cigarettes, right? Versus if I buy a candle that just smells like pumpkin, it's not really a solution to my problem, right? It's more of a vitamin. It's nice that my house smells like pumpkin. It's convenient that I have a candle that gives off a scent, but it's not really solving a problem for me. So again, pause this video and take some time to think about what are the features versus what are the benefits. What's actually going to happen for my customer or my client after they use or buy this thing? And what is the problem that I'm going to solve for them? What is it that this item that I'm selling going to change for their life? Another example I'll give you quickly here, just because I noticed it in my notes, is one of my customers has a security systems business, right? So if I'm selling security systems, the feature is how I'm getting secured, right? So let's say it's a digital security system. It's remote controlled, it's wired. You don't have to worry about locking your door. Your door gets locked automatically. You have 5 cameras throughout your house. You have 24-hour surveillance, yada, yada, right? You have all of these security systems that work together. Those are all the features, right? The benefit is that you can feel comfortable leaving your teenage daughter home alone, and you can go on date night and you can look on your phone screen and see if she's doing any foolery while you're gone. This is good if you are a parent. If I'm a parent and I work double shifts and my kids are home alone often, what's going to be more important for me? Being able to know and being able to be secure that my kids are safe when I'm not there. Or maybe I have a newborn, right? And the security system monitors carbon monoxide in all the rooms and immediately tells me on my phone if there's something that's going off, right? The benefit is that I can make sure that my child is safe even when I'm not physically present. So I can be in the kitchen, and if something's going wrong in the baby's room, I'm going to immediately know that, right? So you want to be sure and you want to be very mindful of what are the actual scenarios, what are the actual things that will happen after they purchase? What are the things that people are going to be able to accomplish, to be able to do, to be able to achieve, because they have this done, installed, part of their life. Okay? Now, think about all of these exercises that we're doing together, right? So you thought about whether you're a vitamin, a cure, or a painkiller. You thought about the hierarchy of needs and what you need to be able to promote your actual product or service, right? The lens within which you're going to communicate everything. And the good thing is, once you have outlined all of these different things that we're going to talk about, you can use it for every single piece of sales copy, right? Because sales copy isn't only your sales page. Even though a sales page usually does about 80% of the work, it's also your emails, captions, webinars, sales calls, your elevator pitch, right? When you go live, if you do IGTV, right? Once you already have in your head, what are the features versus what are the benefits? Am I a vitamin, a painkiller, or a cure? Who do I address on the different hierarchy of needs? All the words are going to start flowing because you know exactly who you're talking to, right? Now you're speaking your customer's language. Now you speak your client's language. When you just write a caption, or when you throw together a webinar, or when you just write a sales page without any outline of what exactly it is that you want to communicate and who exactly it is that you're talking to, you might as well write the page in a whole another language. Like, you literally might as well put it up in Chinese and then send it out to your customers that speak English and hope for the best. Because if you're not clear on the pain points, if you're not clear on the benefits and exactly how you're going to be solving your problem, it's going to sound like another language to your customers anyway, right? It's not going to sound like you understand their needs, and it's not going to sound like you are providing a solution. You're just going to sound like a whole lot of noise like the rest of the internet. So take your time in outlining these things, because it's really going to make your life a whole lot easier when it comes to selling on any other platform. And selling isn't about saying, buy now, buy from me, buy from me. Selling is you being able to persuade your customer to show them that you understand what it is that they need and why they need it at that specific moment in time. So we're going to go over the anatomy of great sales copy. So again, whether you're writing a caption, whether you're doing a webinar, whether you're writing a sales page, these are the main points that you always want to have in existence so that people know exactly what it is that you're trying to communicate. So you're always going to talk about the problem. You're always going to talk about how the problem is a pain point. You're obviously going to share your offering, what it is that you actually sell. You need to have social proof, and you need to show qualifications. Who are the right people for this specific thing? So your problem. When you're talking about your problem, well, your customer's problem, I should say, you need to show them that you understand their pain and where they currently are, right? So once you've identified your target market, once you've shown people exactly what it is that you're able to do for them, and specifically be able to solve for their problem, then you're able to talk about everything else. But the first thing that you need to show is that you understand somebody's problem and that you understand how to provide the solution. But again, before you can show them that you understand their problem or solution, you need to actually know who the hell they are, right? You need to have the target market identified. You need to know who exactly it is that you're talking to so that you can speak to the right problems at the right time. So again, I'll go back to the security systems example. I use a lot of examples for parents, right? Because that's naturally just the easiest thing when you think about security. But let's say that maybe your target market isn't parents, right? The examples that I use are not going to be beneficial to your marketing if your average customer is actually an old person, right? If your average customer is 76, they don't go on dates, their kids are grown and they live in a whole nother state, right? And what they're worried about is, if I come home and I forget to lock my door, am I going to get robbed, right? That's different marketing than it would be for a parent who's worried about leaving their children home alone. So your target market is very, very, very important because, again, it's going to help to frame the kinds of scenarios, examples, and the kinds of benefits that you share with your audience to show that your product or service is a solution to their problem. So one more again, we're going to do this the whole time. Pause this video and go over the questions in italics, right? You're going to want to go over not only who is your customer, right? But what is this customer most frustrated with? What is the actual root of the problem? What are they currently struggling to achieve? And how are they being held back by this obstacle? Right? So what are they most frustrated with? What's their problem? What are they struggling with? What can they not accomplish because they haven't solved this problem? And how is this problem holding them back from achieving something else? So let's use career coaching as an example. What are they most frustrated with? If my target market is a person who is trying to get promoted, right, within their company, or is trying to make more money within their company, they're most frustrated with what? The amount of money that they're currently making and their lack of movement. What are they currently struggling to achieve? Promotions, raises, and bonuses, right? And how are they being held back by this obstacle? Because they haven't been promoted in 2 years, because they never get a raise, because they don't understand how to negotiate during their performance review. They have had the same salary for way too long, and the cost of living now doesn't match up with their salary, but their job responsibilities don't add up with their salary either. So now they're working way harder for less money, and this money also doesn't allow them to pay their bills either. So they're miserable, right? So that's going to sound very familiar to your target market, right? To the person that you are trying to sell on your services, if you are able to really break down the problem for them, and not only what the problem is, which is they're not getting raises, but because they're not getting raises and because they're not getting promoted, this is how it's affecting their life, and this is how this is actually a problem. The next thing you want to focus on is pain point. So you want to basically paint a picture for them, and you want to be very, very descriptive with different scenarios. So throughout this workshop, throughout this training, I have shared a ton of different scenarios for different kinds of businesses. This is the part where you're going to put the scenarios into place, right? You want to be able to really illustrate how this is a problem or a pain in their real life today. Okay. Now, you want to really think about, how is this problem making them miserable? How is this problem basically ruining their life? And how is their life going to change after using your product or service? One more time. How is this problem making them miserable? How is their life going to change after using the product or service? And what is the core benefit? So let's use cosmetics as an example. So my good friend Melissa Butler is the owner of the Lip Bar, right? When she started the Lip Bar because she felt like there weren't any bright shades for women of color. She felt that women of color, especially in the beauty industry, didn't have the opportunity to have the same amount of shades and have the same amount of variety that other groups had, right? So what's the problem that's making them miserable? The problem that's making people miserable is that they can't truly express themselves, right? They might be in the mood to wear a bright purple lip or a bright blue lip one day, but they can't because nothing exists for them, right? Her products are also vegan. So maybe the problem that's making them miserable is all of the existing makeup lines, instead of, being cruelty free, they all have a whole bunch of, animal testing going on. None of them have natural products, and it just doesn't really work within their lifestyle, right? So what's making them miserable is all of the products on the market don't fit my lifestyle, don't fit within my actual values of being vegan and cruelty free. So although the colors exist, I can't buy them because they don't go with what I stand for. How is their life going to change after using the product or service? Well, if it's vegan, they could finally use something. Maybe it's the texture, the formulation. It's going to last longer, so they're going to need to buy less lipsticks. If it's the color, now they can finally express themselves and be bold and be able to indulge in the trends that they see in the magazines that they read, and finally be secure that is a shade that's going to work with their darker skin complexion, right? So the core benefit is not the fact that the lip bar has 52 shades and is vegan. The core benefit is that now a woman can express herself in a way that doesn't compromise her values. And that's totally different marketing than talking about we got 52 shades, right? So you want to be able to really paint the picture for them. This is where you start to help them imagine where it is that they could be if they invest in your services, and also showing them where they currently are. So you want to say things like, imagine being able to finally rock that blue lipstick that you've been dying to wear on Instagram for the last couple of weeks. Imagine a vegan lipstick made from shea butter and jojoba oil that doesn't dry out on your lips. And when it's matte, you don't feel like you're wearing cement. Picture being able to wear this all day long while you go to brunch, have fun with your friends, hit some day parties, and have a hot makeout session with that guy at the bar, right? By you being able to describe and paint these scenarios for them, you're able to communicate the features and the benefits, but you're not just listing out a whole bunch of boring things, right? You're not just going to be like vegan, cruelty free, 52 shades, right? You're able to really paint the picture for somebody so they can imagine all of the things that would be on that list of features in a more descriptive way. Okay. Now, if the pain point isn't very obvious, right? You're going to want to make it obvious. So we'll use interior decorating, right? If I want pre-made room decor, right? If I'm going to get a kit with everything that I need to decorate a specific room in my house, right? A pain point might not automatically be available, right? Like I might not really be clear on why I might be miserable because my room is whack, right? But it's your job as the marketer to think about what that pain point could be. So the pain point could be because you haven't decorated your room properly, the feng shui is off. The vibes are off and it's just stuffy and mundane and boring, and the energy in your room is just not exciting or creative anymore. Or maybe the energy in your room is soul sucking. You and your partner are in there. There's no romance. There's no spark. You have kind of just, gotten into the routine of your life, and your love life is just as black and white as the decor in your room. Or nobody wants to come over to your house anymore because your house is just a hot mess. People come over, everything is cluttered, nothing is coordinated, and people just feel uncomfortable in your space, right? But after using a pre-made room decor kit, instead of spending 10 hours at Marshall's and TJ Maxx and Macy's and blowing your whole budget on throw pillows, you can now have a coordinated look that will make your friends feel like they're sitting inside of a Martha Stewart catalog. Or your kids can finally bring their friends over and not be embarrassed that you have plastic on the couch. If you're Hispanic, you know the struggle, right? So you want to think about, again, what is the benefit? Like, what are people going to be able to actually have or experience now that they've purchased and implemented your specific thing? All right. So the pain point is where you're going to aggravate the problem. Your pain point is where you're going to actually describe like why this sucks for you and for the people around you and why you need a solution. your offering. So what is a product going to do for them? How does it work? And why do they need to buy now instead of later? These are the 3 questions that you're going to want to think about. You're going to want to pause this again, as I keep saying, and really write these out. But basically, the offering section, when you talk about your offering, you're introducing your specific product as the solution to their specific problem. Your product as the solution to their problem, right? If you introduce your product as the solution to somebody else's problem, you're not going to make the sale. So you want to make sure that your product is clearly communicated as the solution to this specific problem. All right. Now, you want to provide all the details on how it works and what they will get, obviously, but you want to communicate it with a sense of urgency, scarcity, and curiosity. You want to communicate this in a way that is going to make people want to buy now instead of later, right? So yes, list out your modules. List out your offerings, list out your shades, list out the different options for room decor. Talk about the different security systems. Talk about what goes in the planner. Talk about, what modules and stuff are included in your digital course. Yes, you want to talk about all those things. You want to list all those things out, but you want to be focusing on how all of those things are going to solve the problem and how those things work in actually creating a benefit for that person, right? How do these 5 modules, how do these different options, how does the different security systems, how do my coaching packages, how do all of these things allow me to create a solution and to change the circumstance of my customer who has a serious problem and is struggling with a serious pain point at this point in time, all right? So this is pretty straightforward. This will usually be just talking about what it is that you sell and just listing out all the features and the benefits. But then you want to introduce scarcity, urgency, and or curiosity. You don't need to introduce all 3. You can introduce just one, but you want to have at least one of these elements available to close the sale for you. Because again, you don't want people to come on your sales page and just purchase when they feel like it. You want people to come on your sales page and feel like they need to buy now. So to create scarcity in your sales, you would do that by offering different options that will show people that this offer is not available to everybody, right? It's scarce. There are limited resources. So this is where there are limited spots. So for me, for example, for my agency, there are only 6 spots a month. So people know if I don't buy now, if I don't get one of these 6 slots, I might not be able to work with her, right? That's what happened for my agency in May. In May, I was booked out through the whole summer already to August, right? So if people didn't purchase in May, guess what? They're going to have to wait till October to work with me, right? So it's important to communicate limited spots because it makes people buy now instead of later, instead of waiting till their paycheck drops, instead of waiting till child support hits, right? Instead of waiting until the situation is convenient for them, they will make the situation work for them if they really truly want to invest. This is where you also talk about while supplies last. So maybe for your lipstick shades, maybe you don't have 50 lipstick shades available forever and ever, right? Designers do a very, very good job with this by dropping clothes in seasons, by dropping clothes in collections, because if you don't get that item during when it's in season, right? During this specific collection, once it's on, it's gone. I can't get it 3 years from now, right? So maybe you have a limited amount of, bundles, right? Maybe you have a limited amount of a specific shade. Maybe you have a limited amount of coupons or something, right? But using the terms while supplies last helps to communicate scarcity because people know there is not an unlimited amount. Maybe something is limited edition. People go crazy over limited edition, right? Why do you think Jordans sell for so much money and they sell out so quickly? Why? Because people know that they're often dropping limited edition. So after they have sold this specific pair of sneakers, you might not ever see it again. So you have to get it now. I talked about this already, bulks or bundles. So creating limited bulks or bundles. When I was trying to get rid of all of my old courses and classes, I did a bulk bundle. No, I'm going to call it in bulk, but it was a bundle of all of my classes, and I sold them in bulk for a specific weekend. And after that weekend was over, that's it, right? I wasn't selling anymore. And I sold more bundles and books that specific weekend than I ever have. Why? Because people knew that they were going away. It was limited edition. It was that specific weekend, right? While supplies last, and there was a time limit. So you was not about to play and say, oh, I'm going to get it next week or with my next check, because you knew that next week and with your next check, the bundle wasn't going to be there anymore. And then also buy one, get one free. So buy one, get one free, buy one lipstick, get another one free this weekend only. Buy, one coaching session with me, get another one free. First 5 people will get this opportunity. I did that with, my sales page templates. I said the first 25 people who purchase my sales page templates get the training for free, right? That was a buy one, get one deal to create scarcity. Why? Because people are going to want to be one of the first 25 because they're going to want to get the training for free. So I'm able to limit the amount of spots for my BOGO deal, which then allows me to create scarcity and allows me to create more of a demand in the market for what it is that I'm selling. The next thing is urgency. So creating urgency around time, flash sale, 24 hours only, fast action bonus, if you buy then, deadline or cohort models where you can only enroll in my program this week only. You can only sign up to be my client on the 15th of the month. The 15th of the month, I open slots for the first 6 people. The first 6 people book, that's it. Deadline's over. So if you don't get it on the 15th, you might not get it ever, right? Having upsells, timed upsells. For the next 15 minutes, if you buy my webinar, you'll get it for 50% off or something like that. And then, of course, discounts. So 20% off for this weekend, 10% off for July sale, 30% off with the coupon code, all that stuff. As long as it is related to a deadline, as long as it has some sort of time limit on it, you will be able to create urgency. And then you can also play off of curiosity. So if you want to make the sale, but your customer is very hesitant, then you can use curiosity to help open them up. So you can offer things like a free trial. You can do giveaways. You can do a subscription box. You can have product add-ons, right? So, you ever go to like Victoria's Secret and they're like, if you buy 5 underwear, get a tote bag free, right? So maybe they didn't really want to buy the 5 underwear, but they're like, you know what? Let me just buy the 5 underwear. I mean, I get the tote bag for free. Why not, right? And then having some sort of guarantee, whether it's a 30-day money back guarantee or 14-day money back guarantee, but basically some sort of insurance policy for the customer if they feel like they don't get some sort of result or they don't get something, then some guarantee that makes them feel like they're protected is also a great way to push the sales process along. Now, social proof is my favorite and something that I feel like a lot of people leave out because, let's be real, some people just make shit up when they're selling. They're like, oh, I think I'm going to sell sales funnels, but they never written a sales funnel in their life. Or, hey, I'm going to be a coach, but they've never actually accomplished anything for themselves. Is this shade? Yes, because a lot of people are selling products and services that they're not actually experts at, right? So it's important for you to use social proof to help you stand out from the fakes and the phonies on the internet, right? So you basically want to be able to answer these questions with your content. How have you been successful with this before? Do your skills and experience relate to the problem? And what kinds of results can your customer expect? This is basically the copy that you're going to use for your About Me section. This is copy that you use for ads. This is the testimonials that you're going to have on your page. This is copy that you want to include on your webinars or launch calls or sales calls, right? You want to basically show the person that you're talking to, whether you're talking to them via a sales page or actually talking to them in person or on the phone or via a webinar. You basically want to show them that I'm the best person for this job, and here's why, right? I'm the best person to, sell you security systems because 100% of my customers are satisfied with their product. Here is Jane, and Jane will tell you her story, right? I am the best person to sell you career coaching because I myself have negotiated a $20,000 raise 6 months after being at a company. I am the person best fit to share my hair vendor with you because I have worked with my hair vendor for 5 years and we've made over $10,000 in sales in the first 30 days, right? You want to showcase not only about what your customers have been able to achieve with your product or service, but also why you are the right person to help them achieve that as well. Okay. Now, you need to be very mindful that once you share the cost, once you talk about the price, once you share all that stuff in your offering, people are naturally going to start making up objections for reasons why they can't buy from you. So your testimonials, your refund policy, your about me section, all the stories that you tell and stuff like that have to help to eliminate those objections, right? So if somebody's like, I don't want to buy this because I don't have time, right? You would have already outlined something on your sales page to eliminate that objection. So you would say something like, my client, Ileana, who has a 4-month-old baby and runs 2 businesses, didn't have time to do X. But with my program, she was now able to accomplish Y, right? Or let's say, we're talking about a price objection. So, I used to spend $4,000 a quarter on room decor between the throw pillows and the sheets and the rugs and all that type of stuff. I used to spend thousands of dollars and thousands of hours having to, find all the right pieces. With my pre-made room decor, for half of that price, you get all of the things and you still have your time, right? So you're going to be wanting to use your specific experiences and your specific examples to not only showcase how your product works, but also show how your product works for different type of people. The people who say that they can't afford it, the people who say that they're too busy. Or for example, security systems. One objection might be, well, I'm not tech savvy. I don't know how to install it. One thing that you would include in your social proof section is showing people of different ages. Like, here's Martha. She's 1,000,000 years old and she's in a wheelchair. She clearly is not technologically savvy, but she purchased our system and got it installed pretty quickly. Or, as part of your guarantee, if you do not know how to install it, or if you can't figure out how to install it in 7 days, we'll install it for you. Or if you can't figure out how to get it working in 30 days, we'll give you your money back, right? So again, you're going to be able to eliminate objections by using the different examples on your page to talk and speak to those specific scenarios. And your FAQs page is also a great place for that. So any place that you can't eliminate objections with social proof, you can eliminate them in the FAQs. Now, the components of an email funnel, I'm going to go over it very quickly because it's with your templates. But basically, your components of an email funnel are the exact same components that you use for a sales page, and there are the exact same components of any great sales copy. The first part of your email is attracting. You want to talk about the problems and the pain points so that you can attract the right people to your product or service, right? So you're going to share a before and after of somebody who had a problem, right? But were able to fix it with your solution. You're going to be talking about the why. Why do they actually need this product or service now, right? Why is this a pain point in their life now? Then you're going to want to convince them, right? You're going to want to give them suggestions and previews on your offering, what it is that you're selling, right? And some recommendations around how you are the right expert or your product is the right product to solve their problem. You can also share mistakes or myths. Same thing. You can talk about social proof. You can share some objections. A lot of people think you need to have a lot of time to decorate your house, or people think you need to have a lot of money to start up a cosmetics line, or you need to spend a ton on different kinds of career coaches to be successful. But by you talking about different myths or mistakes, you can eliminate those objections in the email as well. Then you want to convert them with your success stories. So again, you want to talk about not only your offerings and the features and the benefits and how it's helped different people, but you're also going to want to start diving into creating that sense of urgency, right? This is when you're going to remind people that the cart is closing. This is when you're going to remind people that the sale is only available for 24 hours. This is where you're going to remind people where the fast action bonus is disappearing or free shipping expires tonight, right? When you're trying to convert them, the whole point of those last couple of emails is to close the sale. So yes, you're going to share testimonials and social proof and stuff like that, like you have been doing in the other emails, but you're just going to do it a lot harder and a lot more bluntly in the last couple of emails because you want to get the sale. Okay. But again, after you've outlined all of the things that we talked about in this workshop, in this training, right? After you have all of those scenarios, after you have all of those lists of testimonials and social proof and examples, once you understand the difference between your features and your benefits and all that good stuff, writing this becomes so easy because you're basically going to be plugging in all of these different pieces into the templates that you were provided. So you don't have to stress out about, okay, well, what exactly do I say? You know exactly what to say and when to say it because that's what the templates are for. But the point of this course or this class was for you to really be able to think about how you're positioning what you say within those templates, right? How you're using the template to create compelling sales copy and not just how you're using the templates to check something off of your to-do list. All right. So the last thing I want to do is I want to take a look at some of my favorites, and they might be your favorites too, at their sales pages so that you can see how the same principles are at work. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen very quickly. All right. So one of my favorite people is Danielle Leslie. She is an amazing coach for anybody who wants to put together courses. And this is just a simple landing page that she created for her course called Course from Scratch. So she basically teaches people how to create a course from scratch. All right. The first thing that you're going to notice is that she talks about what the problem is. The problem is you've been stalling on getting serious about creating your premium online course, right? So immediately she's going to tell you, you owe it to yourself to quit stalling and start getting serious. It's time to launch your premium online course, all right? So just from the first sentence, I already know what the problem is. The problem is that the person that she's trying to target is somebody who has been stalling on launching their online course, right? Now, then she talks about what? The pain points. The pain point is right here. You're sick of being on the verge of or about to create and launch your online course. You're tired of procrastinating, right? Your pain point is that you want to launch your course, but you still haven't for whatever reason, right? So her offering, which is here, an 8-week online accelerator program for aspiring course creators like you is going to help you get over these humps, right? Get over the problem of you not being able to launch your course. Then she has a ton of social proof, right? She talks about herself, right? She gives you her bio. She talks about what it is that she has been able to accomplish, how many courses, she's created, how many courses, her students have created, and what has really happened because of her program. So in her about section, she's very strategic about what she shares. She doesn't just talk about, I went to this school and I got this degree and I studied this thing and I've been in business for 10 years. None of that matters. She uses her about section on the page, to be very intentional about talking to her customer and sharing the results that she's been able to get for her clients. All right. You can go to it's coursefromscratch.com. So you can go to this and dive in a little bit deeper on your own time. Again, she's talking about in pain point, right? Is you're invisible right now. Because you don't have a course, you're invisible. And when you get a course, you can become an influencer instantly because now you're being recognized in your niche, right? So if I'm somebody who's like, dang, I want to do a course, but I'm scared because nobody cares about me. Nobody knows who I am. This helps to overcome the objection because she's talking about, I'm going to go from feeling invisible. I'm going to go from feeling like an imposter to being an influencer to being an it girl, right? When I take this course, right? Then she has, again, more social proof. This time, testimonials. So she's sharing testimonials that are very results driven, right? Very results driven. It's not, oh my gosh, I loved working with Danielle. She was amazing. She was so kind. No, it's what has working with Danielle accomplished for me. I've been able to grow my subscriptions. I've had 5-figure launches. I quadrupled conversions. That's the thing that people want to read. So on this short page, she's already sold you on the program without using a ton of copy. Her page isn't super long. Her page isn't super wordy, but she's got you interested because what? She spoke to your problem and your pain point, right? She talked about how she's able to solve that. And then she showed you people that she's been able to solve the problem for. So now you trust her a little bit more. And once you actually get on her full sales page, you're already a little bit bought in. Now, another one of my favorite people is Sabrina Phillip of sabrinaphillip.com. And she is a young business coach. And what I love about Sabrina is that she writes the most thorough sales pages of life. And the reason that she writes such thorough sales pages is because her programs are not cheap. You're not going to pay less than $2,000 to be able to work with Sabrina. So her programs have very, very long sales pages because it's a high price point, right? So again, you can look up her website on your own time, but I'm going to go through this really, really quickly. So same thing. What if you could launch a course or program that paid you to do what you love on your own terms, right? So what's the problem here? The problem is that this person wants to launch a course or a program and get paid to do what they love, right? Now she's going to tell you a story about how she understands your problem because she too was a broke business owner, right? She too was struggling, trying to get client after client. She too felt like she had a cap on her income. And then when she moved to launching, this is what happens, right? And she shares her results. Because remember, without results and without urgency, you cannot make sales. So she focuses a lot on what her specific results have been and also on what her clients' results have been. So she talks about the problem by telling her own personal story, right? And then she talks about the pain point specifically for people. So she uses here, does any of this sound a little too familiar? So she uses scenarios, like I explained to you earlier. She uses these specific scenarios to help people see how not launching your course or your program is a pain point, right? Because you haven't launched, you're not able to, quit your job, right? You're not able to go to yoga at 1 p.m. You're not able to really make a killing in the online space because you're trying to market one person at a time, right? So she's using all of these scenarios here to help you understand, because you haven't launched, this is why your life sucks. These are the things that you haven't been able to do because you haven't purchased my program, right? So then again, she has more scenarios. She's helping you imagine what your life would be like after you take her course or your program. She tells you she overcomes objections, right? So I'll teach you how to sell out your next course or program, even if you've never launched anything before, right? So if I have the objection of, well, I'm a newbie, I've never launched anything, this is not going to work, she targets that. Oh, I don't know what to sell. Boom, she targets that. Oh, I'm not a salesperson, I'm not salesy. Boom, she targets that as well. So again, she uses the copy directly in her sales page to overcome the objections that she knows that her potential customer is already thinking. So she is going to directly answer what it is that you would probably have a question around in her sales page because she knows your problems and your pain points. Then, of course, she's going to go through the offering. The offering is what? Just outlining the modules. So she's outlined the modules, what you get. She uses, again, some social proof with some different testimonials. Again, she continues talking about her offering, what you'll get. And then she goes through her price points, her different price points, more social proof. So the page is really just repeating the problem, pain point, and solution over and over again in different types of ways. But then you have to notice this. At the very end, what does she do? She creates urgency and scarcity by saying, this is only happening one time in 2018. So if you don't register now, you're going to have to wait a whole year to do this again. All right. So you need to get in this now because you might not ever see it again. Right. And now a person who comes on this is like, dang, I need this. I can't afford to wait till next year. I have to buy it now. So they're going to find the $14.97 or the $297 or the 10 payments of $197 to get this popping. And then again, she has her about section. She has some logos from where she was featured. And then, of course, she has FAQs. Why? To talk about some of the objections that people will have. Well, what if I want a refund? She talks about the refund policy. Will this work for me? She talks about if it will work for you or not. Can I just get it next time? No, it's only here for 2018, right? So all of the objections that somebody will have, all of the excuses somebody would have, she tackles them directly right here. So again, take a look at this on your own time. The sales page templates that you received outline this already, but it's good to see it in action. Do not, for the love of God, copy and paste. Okay, don't be borrowing people's sales pages and their copy, but just kind of use it as a, as inspiration for you as to how you can tell stories and how you can use your customers' experiences to really sell on your sales page. Okay. So I hope this was super duper helpful to you. I hope the examples made some sense. If you have questions, feel free to shoot them over in an email to me. It's hi@emilydelacruz.com. Like I said, I am currently on vacation, but I will do my best to respond to you in a timely manner. But as I said, I hope that this was helpful and that after this training and after you use the templates, you're able to launch your sales funnel successfully in the next 30 days or so. So best of luck, and I'll see you next time.